So I'm always on a mission to find the craziest true stories to share with you all, and it's been a minute since I've done one of these relationship stories, and I think I found one that you will all enjoy.
Oh yeah, this one? Yeah, she's crazy.
Dwayne is a single father looking to find a mother for his son, when one day he met Tausha, a single mother who worked at the daycare his son was in. Tausha and Dwayne started talking, and immediately they hit it off. And within a month, Dwayne wanted Tausha and her daughter to move in with him. His mother was feeling a little suspicious about the move, and Tausha in general, since things were going a little too quickly. But it wasn't until Dwayne's son Bubba started having stomach issues. Dwayne and his mother found out that Tausha was giving Bubba laxatives several times a day, but she explained that those were just the pharmacist's instructions. She said she was giving Bubba magic water to heal his stomach issues. And that was when the first red flags really started to show. There were letters in the mail for Tausha coming in that had a different last name. So Dwayne decides to do his own research on this woman he's been dating, and he finds an old marriage license. Tausha Fields had been married to a man named Mitch Kemp in Missouri, but she's told Dwayne that she had never been married before. So once Dwayne confronted her about it, she confessed that she had been married a total of 5 times by the age of 30. At this point, Dwayne had already lost trust with Tausha, but they continued dating. So fast forward a few months later, Tausha calls Dwayne and pleaded him to help her ex-boyfriend Keith after finding out that he OD'd on drugs. First of all, Dwayne had never heard of this man before, but he complied and brought him to the hospital. So once Keith made a full recovery, Dwayne questions him about Tausha and her background, to which Keith tells him that she once drunkenly confessed that her husband Greg killed a man in Missouri on her behalf. But they both thought that the story was too wild to be true. She lies more efficiently than she breathes. She's a pretty dangerous person because she doesn't look it, Keith warns him. A few months later, Dwayne found out for himself and broke up with Tausha after he caught her cheating on him with another man. Furious, he kicks her out of the house and goes into Tausha's MySpace account that was still logged in, and there he finds messages from years ago, specifically from Mitch Kemp's family, asking Tausha if she knows what happened to him. Immediately, he thinks about the marriage license and how maybe she was telling the truth about her ex-husband Greg killing a man in Missouri. He goes to the police, telling them everything he knows, and they take on this investigation. The only problem is that she moved to Alabama to be with another man. After police tracked Tausha down, they bring her in for questioning. Tausha tells the detective she and her first husband, Mitch, were married for 8 months, and after fighting over the custody of their daughter, she left without knowing anything about what happened to him. At this moment, it was said that Mitch was still missing. There were no movements in his bank accounts or activity with his social security number. When did you leave Greg, your other ex-husband? Oh, that's been a couple of years ago. What type of person is Greg? I have nothing bad to say about him. After a lot of pressure from the police, she decided to change her story and said that Greg was a horrible and angry man. Okay, so if I thought he had done something to Mitch, it wouldn't surprise you? Do you think he's capable of doing something like that? I mean, he hurt me, he could do anything. What did he do? Let it out. Tausha confessed that Greg killed Mitch. She told the investigator that she was having an affair with her ex-husband, and Greg shot him to death in a jealous rage at his 40-acre farm. I know where the body was disposed, but I wasn't there in person. Because she kept changing her story, the detective knew she was most likely lying about not being there. She brought them to Greg's farm in Missouri and pretended to be confused and not knowing where she was because they sold the house, but then changed her mind again and pointed out where Mitch Kemp's body was. They found the body, and he was shot 6 times in the chest. So now they have a body to prosecute a murder with. Greg confessed to the murder, but made a deal with prosecutors to testify against Tausha. She started dating Greg just 6 months after her divorce to Mitch, but it became horrible when Mitch wanted to take custody of their daughter. She blatantly lies about the heinous acts he did to her and their daughter, and as a result, she lured Mitch to Greg's farm, and that's where he was killed. For his testimony, Greg took a plea deal and was sentenced to 19 years in prison. In 2010, the jury found Tausha guilty, and she was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.